Pip and the Apples. An Apple's Journey to the Palm of Your Hand. Written by Laura Baker, illustrated by Holly Clifton Brown, created by British Apples and Pears. Read by Stef Gates. When Pip moved into the house next to the apple orchard, the branches were bare. The ground was grey, the air was cold. Bare, grey and cold. That's how Pip felt too in this new place. Pip dragged his feet to school. He didn't know anyone, and he didn't talk to anyone. At home he stayed quiet too. But something caught his eye. As the months began to pass, the orchard next door started bustling. People came and went, pruning the trees. It looked like they were doing something with the soil too. Pip watched and wondered. Pip watched the orchard after school every day. Then one day, just like that, Pip noticed that the trees weren't bare anymore. Tiny leaves and little pink flowers burst out. Pip decided to take a closer look. "Hello," said a voice from the other side of the fence. Pip jumped backwards. "I'm Farmer Polly," said the voice. Pip looked up into a friendly face. "Would you like a tour of my farm?" Pip nodded. He followed behind as Farmer Polly pointed out flower after flower, tree after tree. From the inside, the orchard looked even bigger than before. Pip saw rows and rows of trees stretching before him. Pip looked closely at a blossom and found himself face to face with a ladybird. "Oh, now there's one of my little helpers," smiled Polly. "So many pesky aphids try to feed off my trees, but ladybirds like this one eat them and keep them away from my apple trees." Polly pointed at the long grass between the rows of trees. "We even grow the grass extra long and let wildflowers take over parts of the field so we can attract useful insects. Bees and ladybirds love living in these spaces, and we love the bees and ladybirds. It works out well for us all." Pip nodded. It was all so clever. He had no idea every flower and blade of grass had such an important job. Farmer Polly sprang up. "Speaking of wildlife, just wait until you see this." Pip had to run to catch up with her as she rushed down the hill. "Down here is our pond," she said. "We built it to catch and collect rainwater when it rains. Then we can use it to water the apple trees in drier times. But the best part is, it's a perfect habitat for wildlife too." Pip crouched down to peer at the rocks surrounding the pond. He saw frogs hopping, newts sheltering, and lots of insects crawling around. A swan flew over his head and landed on the water. "The birds love it here," laughed Farmer Polly. After that first tour, Pip went back to visit Farmer Polly as often as he could. Rain or shine, she and all the other people on her farm were out working in the orchard. On busy days, he watched machines and workers from his side of the fence. By the time summer came, Pip knew all about pruning and thinning and checking apples. He was desperate to taste them, but Farmer Polly just kept saying, "Not yet." Then one day, Farmer Polly finally announced, "It's time." Pip had to watch from his side of the fence as the orchard became busier than he'd ever seen it before. People picked, tractors trundled, and bins filled up fast. Polly hurried past the fence, but stopped when she saw Pip. "Here," she smiled. She snuck an apple through and winked. Pip took a bite. It was the sweetest apple he'd ever tasted. "Tastes good?" asked Polly. Pip nodded and went in for another bite. "These apples are fresh off the tree, and they'll stay fresh when they get to your home. That's the beauty of buying local." Polly smiled. "We think our apples are the very best around. The British climate means that our apples ripen more slowly than in other places in the world, giving them the best flavour. Our cold nights and warm days bring on their perfect colour. Pip didn't need to be convinced. His hand was already stretched out, hoping for another juicy fruit. "We need to leave some for the rest of the country," laughed Polly. Polly explained. "Others get loaded onto the lorries to go straight to our waiting customers." That autumn, Pip watched Polly and the workers pick hundreds and thousands of apples. He ate at least one a day too, maybe more. Some Sundays, when the machines were off and the farm was quiet, he even went with his mum to help. He finally felt that he had found a place in his new home. When he went back to school in September, Pip felt powered by apples. He was helpful. He was strong. He was much more confident than before. He was Super Pip. Polly even let him take in baskets of apples to share with his classmates. Soon he couldn't stop talking about how they grew, where they went next, and how great it was to eat from the farms on your doorstep. And the children listened. Pip smiled, thinking about how his apples had grown him some new friends. The days began to get colder. Pip wrapped his jumper tightly around him. From his window, he could see the leaves start falling from the apple trees. But now he knew that they weren't bare and grey. They were just sleeping. Spring and the apples would come again. Pip is older now. He still goes to see Polly and the apples whenever he can. Some of the trees look different and some look the same. But all the trees stand healthy and tall, just like Pip, the boy who grew with the apples.